describe 15 years of charter schools have not succeeded as promised, although they do succeed in making money for a lot of people. The charter industry is driven by entrepreneurs, profit seekers, and fly-by-night operators. Billions have been wasted on charters that either failed or never opened. The charter sector has been marred by scandals, by financial scandals, by academic scandals. Charters cultivate the belief that parents should shop for schools instead of investing their energy in their local public school. I'll let this pass. We are at risk. We are at risk of creating a dual school system. It's as if we're going back pre-1954, creating a dual school system, both publicly funded, one of them free to choose its students, and the other required to take everyone. One deregulated and the other tightly regulated. Well, if deregulation is so good, why not deregulate all schools? Charters have paved the way for vouchers, which have been a huge step backward in our society. Most of the voucher money is going to fundamentalist schools where children are taught to obey and learn creation science. That is not a preparation for the 21st century. The practice of evaluating teachers by the test scores of their students, called VAM, has been a disaster. Thousands of educators have been fired based on this inaccurate measure. Despite billions squandered by the U.S. Department of Education and the Gates Foundation, VAM has failed everywhere. A New York judge ruled VAM arbitrary and capricious after one of the state's best teachers was called ineffective. Common Core has failed. When children are hungry, sick, and homeless, high standards don't help them. They need more than standards. Common Core is actually widening the achievement gaps among children. Teach for America started in 1990, promising that the best and brightest were here to save the schools, close the gaps, and put an excellent teacher in every classroom. Well, 25 years later, there's no evidence that TFA has met any of its goals. The kids don't stay in the classroom long enough to make a difference. There has been failure after failure within the reform movement. The Achievement School District in Tennessee promised to take the lowest 5% of schools and raise them into the top 25% of schools in the state in only 5 years. Well, 4 years have passed, and the schools they started with are in the bottom 5% still. But Georgia and North Carolina, based on the failure of Tennessee, wants to do exactly the same thing. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So where are the stars of yesteryear, the reform stars that we spoke of when we met in 2011? Michelle Rhee has gone into quiet seclusion. She became chancellor 10 years ago. She was succeeded by her deputy, Kaya Henderson, who's retiring this fall. 10 years of reform, and what do they have to show for it? A great deal of teacher churn, principal churn, and in terms of the achievement gaps, the largest achievement gaps between black and white, Hispanic and white students of any big city in the country. So much for reform. Arnie Duncan is gone. Joel Klein has disappeared. Joel Klein left the chancellorship of New York, berating teachers as he left, collecting a pension as he left. And then he started a technology company and brought it to Rupert Murdoch. After Rupert Murdoch lost $500 million, he decided to cut Joel Klein loose. Joel Klein is now working for an online healthcare provider. So now he can berate nurses instead of teachers. Cammie Anderson has gone from Newark. Deborah Gist has gone from Rhode Island. Janet Baresi has gone from Oklahoma. Jeb Bush ran as an education reformer, and he's gone too. Gone. They're all gone, and we are still here. Are there teachers in the audience? You didn't quit. You're here every day. You're here for your kids. You'll be in school in September taking care of your children, and the reformers are off to greener pastures or no pastures at all. We have the bats. The bats are those courageous teachers who say we are fed up and we're not going to take it anymore and we're going to stand together and be courageous. And thank God for the bats. We have high school student unions across the country. The Newark Student Union. Pass by. The Newark Student Union drove the school's chancellor out of the district. 8 kids. 8 kids, and they sat in her office and wouldn't leave until she promised to meet with them, and she left.